you can tell, and you can still tell when something's done AI as opposed to being on the creative end of it, just from the lack of originality and soul. It's just missing from it. So I think those projects, people working in niche markets, and the niche market that we're in, there should be a level of pride and insight on anybody using AI. They all ought to be pointed out. They should be made to declare that up front in their campaigns, that this is an AI generated product, just so
Oh,
people will know better.
in Kickstarter, you have to.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. There's literally, it won't let you move forward unless you click a couple of buttons in there. So
Yeah.
Is anyone checking that though? So if they don't check the box, is someone
key.
flagging it later?
well, I mean, it's probably another AI.
Yeah.
Well, the AI is not going to call out itself.
So, yeah, but Marvin, did you hear the question?
I did not.
Tom,
Marvin has strong opinions.
The general question was, are we still all afraid of AI? And then more specifically, just within our space of comics, art, whatever, are you afraid AI is going to be able to take your job, for example? Where are you with the AI problem?
So I hear the AI word every day, and my coworker and I drink every time we hear it, and like we work drunk continuously for the past month
How are you still standing?
it comes up. So and because of the nature of the things, like I have to go and I have to research AI as a thing. And when I hear about like how much water, how much electricity, like the infrastructure in the United States can't handle the server farms that they're putting up for AI. So come next summer, the more of those farms they put up, the more brownouts you're going to see. So it's just going to drain energy from everyone else. And you've seen that a bunch of the tech bros are already saying the bubbles is getting ready to burst on it, because people have invested so much money into this thing and can't get anything out of it. So there's no way you can make money from it. The only people that are making money are the people who are at both ends of the pipeline. So anytime anyone is selling AI to someone, they're going to say, well, we're going to sell you this package, and then we're going to sell you this package to undo it, because eventually you're going to have to stop using it, because the thing is it's not trustworthy. You can't trust it. Like it can't run a vending machine. It can't run a self checkout. It can't do takeout. It can't do anything that it's supposed to. It has to think, unless it's being fed. So recently, I think Lionsgate got burned because they paid all this money for an AI to make movies, and we're told that they don't have enough IPs to feed the thing. They said Disney doesn't have the IPs to feed the thing, so you can't feed it enough for it to churn anything out that's going to be acceptable.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's not really artificial intelligence. It's just a big probability machine.
Yep.
It takes information that's input into it, and then when it's asked to make a thing, it says, all right, what's the next letter that's most likely to appear in this sentence? What's the next pixel that I should put here based on probability? So it's really kind of silly when you look at the whole thing that, you know, really the only one hyping up these tools anymore are these tech bros, and they've put all their money into this, but it doesn't return anything really useful or worthwhile, because it's just, you know, it's a probability machine. It's a slot machine. You put a coin in, you hope you get out another coin in return. You hope you get out what you put into it. So I think we're still seeing a lot of blowback in, like, with people, everyday people like us who are seeing this AI stuff. We're like, this is silly. This is weird. It's off-putting. Like, we don't like it. We want stuff made by people. And I think you're seeing that even more and more as time has gone on. And it's just not catching on. And what was the stat? There was a stat in an article recently, like at least 95 to like 98% of investments put into AI don't return anything.
There's no money here.
Exactly. It's just like this kind of a black hole. So while this technology will always be around in some capacity, you know, I think we're going to see it less and less, and the hype is going to die down as we realize we can't really get anything out of it. And like you said, if the bubble's going to burst, then we should be turning the corner soon,
Right.
but not before things get more annoying in the meantime.
Right. But the problem with it is that because they put so much change into it, and like I said, that they're getting money from both ends of the pipe. They'll let a bubble form, and then they'll let that one burst, and then all these companies will be out. And what will happen is that all the people they fired, they're going to have to hire back because they have to undo the damage that it's going to do. So right now, think about it like this. So you have new people coming to the job market and using AI to make a resume, and the companies are using AI to read the resumes, and it's automatically rejecting it because it says it's AI.
I recognize my brother.
Yeah.
Well, there was one company that specifically was asking people not to use AI to generate their resumes because they were using an AI to read the resume, and because the AI was having a hard time telling them apart. Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things. But I mean, for myself, like it's like Randy was saying, it's a tool, right? So you just have to find the space that tool can be well utilized, right? I know for myself as a comic book creator, I write my books, send them off to my artists, they return them, I letter them. Okay, that's the other thing that I do. I like word placement. I do not like to put in word balloons though. If I can get an AI to put in my word balloons, which I do all myself, I would be very, very appreciative. That's the only part I would need an AI to assist me on a comic. And it's not even an assistance. I don't need it. It would just save me time, and it would just make things a little bit easier, right? Which is in the end what we're all looking for, right?
Yeah, you have to feed it though. You have to feed it that idea of what you do.
Right. I would prefer to just be able to go like, look, that's a word balloon. Put it there, you some bitch. Just put it there, you know? Because that's
And you think
that's how you get
and you think
Terminator.
it'd be real. You'd think it'd be real easy to get that software together to be able to do that, but as silly as it might sound, lettering's an art form. You know, that the balloon placement is incredibly important when you're doing sequential art, and you're not always going to hit that off of an AI program.
Well, no. Well, what I do is the word placement. So I will put the words in, so it would know where to put the balloon. You know what I mean? It would just follow the balloon. You know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
Spacing.
Right.
I agree with you that drawing the word balloon is the most annoying part of making comics.
Yeah. You know, and
it's so boring and repetitive. Yeah.
The other thing is like, you know, I know we're making a lot of light of it, but one of the things that I've discussed I'm not necessarily a proponent for, but what I will say is this: those people who really learn how to use AI and who are talented, you understand, who are talented, will be able to utilize AI in ways that will probably astound us.
Already are,
probably in the speed they're going to be able to do things, because, you know, everybody's heard, you know, you can put in a prompt, right, feed it to an AI, and it'll spit out a novel, right? If you know how to edit, if you already know how to write, let's say you could write out, you know, a 5-page prompt, feed it to the AI, it can spit out the novel. If you already know how to write, if you know how to do dialogue, you know how to do pacing, you know how to do all these things already, you can sit there and edit that thing into something readable. And you could probably do that within a week. So you could probably get some.
You don't need to make it readable. Twilight was a success. Okay. I mean, let's be real.
Some of the books coming out now.
Some of us have standards. Some of us have standards. But I'm just saying, if you really have those abilities, just like if you find someone who's feeding image XY, you can have a photographer going out there feeding images into an AI, and, you know, it'll be able to create all these other weird images. And if they know Photoshop well enough, right, they might be able to do some fantastic stuff in it, right? We don't know, right? So those are the things I'm talking about. Even if you get a team of 3 or 4 guys who really know how to use this technology, if you get one guy who knows how to lay out a page, rough layout, and you could feed it in, and let's say one of these companies gets together with I don't know, Marvel or DC, and they say, well, all right, we want this comic book drawn like John Buscema. Boom, and it can hand you the page drawn like John Buscema by a guy who knows how to do a layout, right? And then you'd have another guy who maybe knows how to like fix the coloring, or maybe go in and like touch up whatever needs to be touched up, right?
But one of the problems you're going to have with that is, since the laws are always behind technology, what happens when those things go to copyright?
Right. No. Well, hold on. My other argument is that
that's another question.
No. My other argument has always been like, you have to wait until Disney gets into that game.
Yeah.
You understand? Once Disney gets into that game and they have their own AI system, they're gonna feed all these things in there, right? And it's only a matter of time before Jack Kirby is reborn, before George Perez is reborn. You understand? It's just a matter of time. And then look, and those companies may do something like talk to those families in advance and say, listen, we're going to cut you.
Yeah.
Right?
So they're going to have to pay a royalty of some type, for sure.
Right. And if they cut in those families, they're not going to complain. Right? What's anybody going to be able to do? It's their property. It was all work for hire. Right? And that's the scenarios that I'm talking about. But that I still think we're 3 or 4 years away from that at minimum. You know, because the way they talk about it is the level, the way the technology is growing. I mean, if it's able to grow the way they keep saying, but who knows? I like traditional, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but you know, they did not move forward with any of the shutdown laws either, like the kill switches. So once the thing gets out of hand, you're not going to be able to turn it off.
Hey, you know, what is it? Skynet is coming.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
so all those things on Facebook where they're like, hey, show your pictures from when you were 6 and when you were 60. Don't do it, because now they've got your face.
There you go.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, you know, what are we doing this whole comics thing for, right? It's because we like the whole process of making it. There's something important in that. So even if these companies are going to come along with that technology, I think there's still the point of making comics it's the honing of your craft, putting in the effort, putting in the time to make the thing. And that's the important part. Yeah, there's a book at the end that people read and we want them to read it and enjoy it. But the making of that book and everything that went into that is just as important as the book itself. Even if the end reader doesn't realize all that on the upfront, it comes in through the final product. So, you know, these AI machines and whatever, they're going to keep doing what they're doing. But is it going to have the same worth and value as something that a person made? Like, we can bring back Jack Kirby, but what if there's a new person out there that could make something that could be just as beloved in the future, you know, because they put in the effort to make the thing. So I think in that way, you're always going to have things made by people are just always going to have that edge and advantage. And that's going to be what people really gravitate towards and remember.
No, I agree. And you make a great point. And one of the things that I think we always need to watch out for, because we already have it and we've been having it for years, we have these people, because I don't want to refer to them as really as creators, who come into this business, right? Because it is a business for many. It's not just an art form, right? Because I consider it an art form, and I'm sure everybody here does too. But there are people coming into this business who look at it just as a business, and they're just here to grind out as much money as they can out of it. And they're going to do it by spending the least amount of money and doing the least amount of work they can. And you see them all the time at shows. You see them all the time on Kickstarter. You know, they're out there. You know, and they're constantly talking shit as to how great their stuff is. And it's usually the biggest steaming pile of crap you could ever come across.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. And those are the guys who are going to be primarily using this technology. You know, and there's already several of them on Kickstarter already doing them, who've been in the game for 30, 40 years.
Well, every technology, though, has that kind of abuse at the start. You get the greedy SOBs that pop in that try to. Well, comics is notorious for that. Anytime that there's a trend, there's 15 imitations right off the bat. You know, look at how many funny animal books popped up after turtles, and how many of these guys went out there and abused the system with really inferior black and white product for like Solson and those guys, Blackthorn, and just companies that names just escape me, that just threw books together thinking that the retailer was going to think it's the next turtles and, you know, buy a crap load of it. The same thing's happening with EI. You had a creator, a writer for DC that was going around trying to standardize everybody's comic scripts to make sure everybody used the exact same format. And the reason she was doing that was so that it would be easier to program her chat GBT for it into that format. But you're seeing this, the abuses are already happening. It's a matter of, you know, how we handle that, call them out, sue them, whatever you have to do in order to secure your personal, you know, rights and your personal IPs.
Yeah.
The thing that's really crazy now, though, is you can steal styles, and that's just incredible. There's a big class action suit with a bunch of artists, especially in the fantasy community, that are suing over them stealing their styles. And that's going to be real interesting to see how that settles out in court.
Yep. All right, we'll see. So, Tom, what do you think? Your question.
So for me, I've talked about this a long time. You really have to. There's always the moral part of it. There's the stuff that Marvin was talking about, the environmental part of it. But when you're in the game, really, it comes down to the end user. It's who's buying it. Can you convince somebody to buy it? You know, hey, I made this thing on AI. I made an art print out of it. I'm selling it at a con. Will you give me $20 for this? And I think right now we're seeing that for the most part, that's a no. Not a no across the board, but it is a no for the most part. What I'm seeing is, and I'll tell you, I've watched AI stuff. It's been a year and a half since this stuff really launched. And we used to get, you know, noodle fingers and, you know, stuff sticking into your brains. And now we're watching movies a year and a half later that look quote unquote good, right? Like the AI stuff that I've been seeing in art is, I mean, just taking leaps and bounds month after month after month. I look at something will just come through on my page and I'll be like, holy shit, who is that? And then, you know, I go and take a look at it and it's like, oh, it's an AI guy. Of course it is. So, you know, but even though it has, you know, hundreds or thousands of likes, it doesn't mean that that's translating to anything like we've talked about. It doesn't translate into a monetary value at the end. So I think ultimately it's going to be, what does the end user want? Will they accept that as a thing? There are some examples of yes. There are more examples of no. It will come down to whether or not these IP hubs come down on these AI places. We've already seen it where Disney's come after, I think it was Midjourney, for not for the AI, but for producing IP infringement. You know, they were producing Spider-Man and whatever, right? So, hey, if this is what's coming out of your stuff, that's our IP. You can't do that.
Right.
What I find really interesting there is, why are they coming down on the AI and not the fan art people at cons that are doing the exact same thing? So if one of these things, if they get any traction with this whole thing with the IP, that might create a completely different domino effect going the other way too.
Maybe, but right now I think you're seeing Disney looking at it as the difference between mass production and art.
Yeah, but it's once they realize that mass production is happening in the comic book world, because I'm not talking about originals like sketch covers and stuff, one-offs and whatever. I'm talking about people who are like, here's my Batman piece. We're going to make 100 of these prints. We're going to take them to the con. We're going to do it again at 20 cons every month, every year, over and over again. Once that gets sunk into somebody's brain at Disney, that's going to collapse, because you're talking about millions upon millions of dollars year in and year out that's happening from the fan art world.
And
do you think they don't think it's worth sending someone to each one of these shows to look and see if it's happening?
That's the thing.
Or do they need someone at the show to be snitching on these
I don't even think it's a snitching problem. It's there. Everybody knows. I mean, it's
Right
just a matter
now,
of whether they care. And that's
it.
what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. If they care about the AI side of it, it may be that the other side of that coin will almost maybe have to be this, because the argument will be, well, guys, we're making this AI stuff. Yes, but you don't care about any of this. Why don't you care about any of this? And that could be the domino that tips it all over.
Right. Well, that would come up during discovery, and if there's a lawsuit, then they'll say, well, we discovered at con, mega con, super con, con, that X number of people were selling art prints of your characters that they didn't license from you. Why are you not going after them?
That's it. That's what I'm saying. It's a domino that could really have a ripple effect. But back to the AI, I think it is, AI basically is screaming into the void right now. Anybody care? Anybody want this? Whatever it is. And we're finding out that it's a very mixed result. No matter how good it gets, it feels like whenever somebody finds out that it's an AI product of some kind, there seems to be a negative connotation to it. One of the biggest examples that's happening right now is the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere in Las Vegas, where they used AI to, for those that don't know, the Sphere is a gigantic movie theater, basically.
Bubble.
And they project this on the inside of this gigantic bubble. So when you play a movie, it's only this big, and they have to fill in all the rest of it. So they used AI and computer generated stuff to fill in all this stuff. And there's a lot of people that are very upset about the AI part of it. There's people that are upset about very specific aspects where they actually digitally removed Munchkin's faces and replaced it with like backers of this thing. It's really weird.
Technology is scary.
And but then there's other people who are just like, this is mind blowing. This is an amazing experience. Like, look at the freaking twister. It's everywhere. I'm inside of it. And so again, it's like you've got like this sort of weird 50-50. Yes, we like it. No, we don't. And so I think at the end of the day, I think we are going to, even if AI is going to exist in one way, shape, or form forever now. But I think that, like we talked about with the social media rejection and wanting sort of the more connective tissue for people, I think that down the line, the idea that you can say this is a people-made product, not an AI product, that will have bonus value, because it'll be like, well, here's two products. I like both of them. Okay, cool. That one was made by AI. This one was made by these 4 people. Which one do you want? Oh, that was made by people. I think people are going to gravitate that way.
Right. And there's one thing that like people are missing from the AI movie thing. Now you lose costumes, you lose props. So now you're makeup artists. So you're removing things from that process. Now, when you have your award season, what are you giving people awards for? Because no one did anything.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the thing, Tom, the thing you were mentioning earlier about Disney going in and claiming their copyrights at conventions, it's funny because I remember having a conversation with Daphne, and she was telling me how they were using Etsy, right? And Etsy, these people on there, they would create Disney products, like they would put like little gems on the ears or whatever, and Disney would use them as test marketers, and they would go in, look at the stuff they're moving and selling, and then Disney would then adapt that stuff and start putting it out.
Yep.
And there's absolutely nothing these people could say to them because it was their product anyway.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, and there's no real alchemy to it, but we do have the alchemist of Aurelia.
There we are.
Wow, that's a transition. Woo!
All right. So do you want me to play this video, Melissa?
No. No, I don't like to see myself on video, but yeah. So I got this running. I'm going till Friday, so we're in the last home stretch. It is an Ottoman Turkish fantasy adventure series. It's a book-loving wizard and her familiar have to go on a quest to thwart a witch's revenge, and they're really hoping that this old legend is true so that they'll have a way to actually defeat her, because otherwise, if it's not true, they're going to be sunk. And shenanigans ensue. And then tragedy.
All right, cool. Now, you said this is the first 4 issues in the series?
Yep. So this is the collected edition of those first 4 issues. It's going to be over 180 pages. There's also some bonus content and like additional short comics. We also have like mini strips in the back too that are like humorous little background takes on things in the story. We're going to have what else? There's a lot in this book. See, I can't even remember everything that's going to be in this very special, very nice looking book. There's going to be a map of the world. We've never really had a map fully realized, so we're going to put out that for the first time. There's going to be a lot of good things. So, yeah, make sure you check it out.
All right, cool. Now, the 4 issues, is this the complete story? Is this one part of the, like it says volume 1? So is there going to be a volume 2?
Oh yes, absolutely. So this is kind of think of this like the first arc of the story, and then issue 5 is going to be starting the next arc. So this will be the collected edition of that first bit where we're getting started on the quest. We're getting the party together. So this is a perfect time to jump on board, especially if you're new to the series or if you've been away for a while, and to come in and get the story so far to be ready for that issue 5 when it comes out. And I've got pins, and they're going to be sparkly, and I'm really excited because I've never made a pin before, so please get pins.
Nice. All right, cool. I mean, all right. So, I mean, just out of curiosity, like, what is your release schedule looking like? Do you release quarterly, biannually?
Oh gosh, I wish. It's been kind of held up. It's been like a year, like 1 or 2 books a year. So I also have another series as well that I'm going to be leaning into hard next year because it takes place in 1926 and it's going to be 2026. So it's going to be the year of Black Ball, and we're going to have a good time with that. So they do come out regularly, and I do make sure to keep everyone in the loop about what's going on and what I'm working on. So yeah, I try to keep it going. It's tough with a day job, and then you pick up other projects on the side. So, but I keep it moving best I can.
Okay, I know that feeling.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the day job. Ugh.
Yeah. What a bother.
Seriously, it really is. All right, so I mean, you got 5 days. You got 5 days ago. You got 69 backers. You're about 2/3 of the way there. So you got a little bit of hustle to do, but I think you can definitely make this. So
everyone is so optimistic for me. I'm like, I don't know, and everyone's like, you can do it, Melissa. Keep going. I'm like, I just want to lay down and eat carbs, but okay, I'll keep going.
As long as those carbs include chocolate, fine.
Oh yeah.
But it looks
we talked about shouting into the void. I had a couple of big pledges from Germany, so I'm like, maybe we just need to shout into Germany. Maybe that's where the comic readers are. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there.
Could be. I've always heard France.
I know we've got Atlantean being translated for the Brazilian and the Danish market. Seeing how that is going to work out. We haven't seen any definite numbers back from them yet, but they've been running campaigns for about the last 30 days or so.
Wow. So through those markets, are you, is it like distribution like we have here, like do stores, or is it like they're running campaigns like we're doing here?
It's both. Over in Brazil, they're running campaigns first, doing a crowdfunder, and then they're going to do a different version of it and release it for retail. And Danish, I think they're just releasing to the shops.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Nice. Now we got Memoirs of the Morbid. Grant, do you want me to play this video?
Yeah.
All right.
Greetings, ghouls and boils. I'm the Ghoul Master, a loving homage to horror anthology narrators of yesteryear. Wait, I'm an homage? Why didn't anybody tell me? You'll hear from my agent about this. But first, let's get to the heart of the matter. I'm here to tell you about the new horror anthology, Memoirs of the Morbid, on Kickstarter in time for Halloween. Memoirs of the Morbid is a black and white homage to classic horror comics from the 40s and 50s, containing 5 self-contained stories by some of the best indie comic creators out there. There's that word again. I better not find out homage is an insult. Anyways, Memoirs of the Morbid is completely done and ready to go to the printer. So don't make a grave mistake by missing it.
All right. So Grant, walk us through it. What do we got?
Yeah, so as he said, it's an homage to EC comics, which were horror comic books from the 30s and 40s. And this is in the same style as that. It's 4 independent stories. And like I said, you don't have to have read previous volumes in order to understand what's going on. They're all self-contained.
Okay, cool. How many pages does the issue run?
About 50, a little over 50.
Okay, cool. And you said there's 4, so they're just 4 short stories?
There's 4 short stories, and there's a bonus section that with a sponsorship deal that we have. We were sponsored by a staffing company that provides undead employees. So, except they don't like the expression undead. They like to call them post-living.
Gotcha. So if it is an AI, is it going to be the post-living that's going to be taking over all our jobs?
Well, yeah. Well, that's, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of allegorical stuff you can read into the idea of post-living employees, right?
Cool. Now, so what's your history with horror and like EC comics? Like, have you been a big fan for a long time?
Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of people, I discovered it with the movies and TV shows that were based on those things. But yeah, I've always loved. I go more for like psychological horror, more than just like really gruesome horror. But yeah, I think like a lot of people, I grew up on DC comics.
Okay, cool. So you got 51 backers. You're more than halfway there. You got another 29 days. So I think you're sitting comfortably. You're definitely going to make your goal. Right. So I mean, now are you? This is obviously a one shot. Are you looking to do more in the future?
Yeah. So this is actually volume 3. So I've been going. I do like color coordinated as opposed to numbered, just because I don't want people to think that they have to read volume 1 in order to understand volume 2 or 3. So this is the orange volume, and I've already done the red and the blue volumes.
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good. I thought you were going the whole Roy G. Biv thing, and I was like, I said you moved ahead. You're out of order.
Right.
Yeah. But no, it's really cool. Nice. Now, how many of these do you put out? Do you put out one of these annually, or you do these every other year?
Right now, it's been about once every 2 years.
Once every 2 years. Okay, cool, very nice. I mean, listen, it looks awesome. So everybody, go out and get a copy.
Thanks.
Nice. All right. No more snappy intros. Here you go, Sean.
Yep. So we're in pre-launch. We go live on Tuesday, so I have a couple days. I was trying to get to 150 followers, but we're in that realm, so I'm definitely happy where we're at. But Hospice is season 2. We're starting that out. Travis Gibbs started that with 6 or 7 creators for the first season. I'm the first of 6 creators to do a story that'll be a trade eventually at the end of next year is the plan. And the Scale Key is my mini series that I'm starting with Hospice, and will actually be 2 more issues after that on its own. It'll be like from the pages of Hospice kind of thing. This is my 3rd series. He's Alistair Redgrave is his name. He's a generational demon hunter. When he was a kid, his father was teaching him how the trade, and they're in hell. And one of the pages will show basically he was put in danger. Of course, you're in hell, and his dad had to throw him through the portal. His arm got chopped off at that kind of bottom to the left of that page. It's kind of small in the pre-launch, but so he lost his arm. He's all alone, and he eventually realized that as he's trying to take on demon hunters or demons on the Earth side. That eventually this scaled arm was growing back, and he controls all the demons that he has stopped and thwarted. And so it's kind of like Devil May Cry meets Hellboy with a Pokemon-like twist. So a lot of things mashed up together, everything that I like. None of my other characters have been the anti-hero, the punk rocker kind of sarcastic and just the cool guy that everybody wants to be, kind of thing. So I let loose on this one, and it's just a lot of fun. And this is actually that cover is my my artist. He's my inker and colorist for the entire book, and he came up with that crazy cover, and I love that. That cover by itself is just insane.
No, great job. You did a fantastic job. Looks good. When are you launching? 2 days?
Yeah, Tuesday at 10 a.m. is the plan.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Well, you got 131 followers, so I think you're in a good spot.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Now we have. All right, this guy. I don't know about this guy. All right, Marvin.
What? Am I the new JD?
Huh?
You said, I don't know.
You know, show up a half hour late. What do you expect?
I was on another stream, man. But it's not my fault. I double booked. It is my fault. Never mind.
Do you want me to play this video?
Sure, you can play the video.
All right, cool. That's enough of that, Marvin. Anyway. So walk us through this, Marvin. What do we got?
Sure. So this is the 1/18th Blaine action figure and one-shot comic. So action figure is 25 points of circulation, multiple heads, multiple hands. So he's got trigger hands, he's got fists, he's got slapping hands, because you got to slap people sometimes.
You got Wayne Brady hands?
Yes. Yeah. So you can get into all the cool poses. So, I've got listed on there all the articulation points. And it includes a one-shot comic called Blaine High Stakes, where Blaine is headed to Las Vegas to extract someone who's running their mouth about the edge. So he's got some information he's willing to sell on the market. And, of course, he went to Vegas to do this.
All right. Cool.
So we've got the main figure. We've got army builder sets. I just actually was just revealed a new set of army builder figures on the last stream that I was on.
Nice. So how long have you had this in development?
Since 2019, I believe. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Each figure it takes longer than it should to order, I'll say. So yeah, so we got Wamblems and Wham Stand on discount here. So they were just nice to give us some of those to share with the fans. So you can get Wamblems for $5. So they're any logo, and then they're magnetic, so you can stick to the front of the stand. So they're like comic stands. But he is working on action figure stands now.
Cool.
So there's our army builder figure. So you can get a set of those. Normally, they're 1 for $30. They come with 4 heads, or you can get 4 of them for $80.
Okay. Now, are these actual figures you're buying, or you're just buying the little program to print it out?
No, these will be actual figures. These ones will be polybag. They won't be make it cheap.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So we got the extra heads you can be added on. There's stretch goals.
Mm-hmm.
We got card set. So adding new cards to the set. That's Kyrad, who appears. He's the villain of the current story arc issue that started in issue 10.
Cool.
Adding suits. Adding the character Rev the Revolution. Adding the budget assassin Ryle, who's always broke for some reason. We got coffee again.
So how popular is the coffee?
Coffee went really fast last time. Like I think I had like 400 bags of coffee. After Kickstarters and having a list on the website, I think I had one bag left that I kept for myself, and now it's all crunchy and hard. So yeah. So the coffee, I was actually selling the coffee at cons for people who didn't like comic books. There was a guy that came past. He said he didn't read comics. So I said, "Do you like coffee?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "I've got bags of coffee." We got coffee. We got poker chips. We got all kind of goodies in this.
Nice. So I mean, how did the toy come about? Like, what was the process?
So I've known the guys from Loose Collector since like the 2010s when they were just doing custom figures, and they did do some custom figures for me back then. So they did do a Blaine custom figure a long time ago.
Cool.
So then when they started, I think in 2019 is when they started like producing their own figures. So I think it was Lady Death they did first. So I contacted them and say, "Hey, I want to do a 1/18 scale," and they really didn't want to do 1/18. They wanted to do 1/12, but I kind of talked them into it. So I believe I will be the only 1/18 customer with them.
Now, for those of us who have no idea what that geek language means, what exactly is the 1/18 versus a 1/12 in like actual inches?
Oh, so 1/18 is 3 1/4 inches, almost 4 inches. So if you think of G.I. Joe from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and 1/12 is the current 6-inch figures.
Mm-hmm.
So Star Wars Black, G.I. Joe Classifieds, Marvel Legends.
Critter.
I was going to say Critter. I was getting there. Critter, who was another character that was done by Loose Collector. And then my next question is, why has Tom not done other action figures after he did Critters?
Oh, I can tell you, but
All right, cool. Well, I mean, you still got 23 days to go. You've passed the halfway point, so that's good. I mean, you got your hustle to put on, but I think you got enough hustle to get it done. So
it's going to be an uphill battle, but I mean,
listen,
I got more streams to do.
That's true. But very nice. It looks good. I mean, the toy looks awesome. So that's gonna be a cool figure to have. Very nice. All right, cool. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. This is my next campaign. This is Fallen Gods for the Oswald Chronicles. It's a trade paperback. I believe this was gonna be 160 pages. This one's full color. This was actually the very first comic book I did with Jade Gonzalez. So this was very early on. This was 14 years ago at this point. So yeah. So it's Oswald. He encounters an elf sorcerer who takes over the power of a god, and this god was literally within this fairy realm, placing the sun in the sky every day, and he steals that ability from this god. And Oswald's there, and they're asking him to try to like fix this for him. So that's the story. But anyway, all right, Randy.
Hey, I got something.
Go ahead, Tom.
Where?
It's shared. In the bottom screen thing.
I got it. I got you. All right, Tom.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we're going to be launching our BD 15 anthology on Saturday, but we also have what we have named the BD Index, which is the who's who of all our characters. So we're going to be doing it just like Marvel did it, just A through Z. So the first issue is a 9-volt through Critter. It's going to be 32 different characters by 32 different artists. We didn't let anybody double up. I wanted to give a ton of artists an opportunity to do this. This is what the book is going to look like with a bunch of our characters.
Nice.
And again, 32 different artists, a whole bunch of colorists. I designed and wrote all this nonsense out. Some of these guys have started working on this like in 2020. We just had so much to do, and I had so much going on that I just never could really focus it and get it done. But since this is our 15-year anniversary, I was like, we have to get this done now. Issue 1 is done. And it includes the first appearance of the new outfit for Critter that got teased in Critter number 25 that is out now. But this will be the first official full appearance of her new costume. So there we go. That'll be Saturday the 11th.
Is issue 25 coming through Massive?
In a few years, yeah. They're only at issue like 10 right now. And they do that every 2 months. So it's going to be a minute before we get to issue 25. So if you need a 25, if that's the only one you need, Marvin, we can get you squared away.
Okay.
But yeah, Critter is back in stores now. It's through Filbo, it's through Massive Indies. Antarctic Press, of course, is producing the Critter book. So they just took the information for, I believe it was Critter 10. They're also reprinting our, in fact, the first one was Cricket. They're reprinting our one-shots that we did to kind of expand the Critterverse within AP. So there's Cricket, there's Rookie, there's Electric Youth, and there's Slipstream. Those are all one-shots. So Critter has been coming out every other month, and now in the gap months, we're going to put these one-shots. So we're actually going to have 8 straight months of the Critterverse through AP starting whenever it is. I think like in January is when Critter like 9 comes out, something like that. And then it'll alternate for 8 months, all Critter stuff. So that'll be super cool. But this is Critter 25. This is way ahead of the AP folks. But if you need to catch up, we can get you caught up. It's all on the website.
All right, cool. Now, how long is this campaign going to run for? Because I know you're notorious for doing 2-day campaigns.
Yeah, it's going to be like a day and a half, and we'll be done. It's going to go till it's going to be 3 weeks. It's going to go till November 1st, and right as the last week of our campaign starts, Dren Publications is going to be launching somewhere in there the book that I did for them called Plan 39 from Outer Space. So in that last week, we're going to have my last week and the first week of that book. So we'll be doing a lot of yelling into the void for that week.
A lot of crossroads. Okay, that's cool. Very nice. Very nice.
Yep.
All right, cool. Randy, do you have a question?
Not really, but I can make one up here. We talk about yelling into the void a lot. What are your most successful things that you do when you're yelling into the void? What's done good for you?
Okay. Melissa, I think you were up.
Oh, geez. I'm not sure I have an answer for this because sometimes it feels very random about what does well and what does not do well. So, for example, I generally find that video works better for me. I think putting my personality a little more forward and talking to people more directly through a video seems to go over really well with my audience. I've thrown things out there like I did this sketch, but it'll get hundreds of reactions, but I might do like a finished piece that I'm really proud of and 5 people looked at it.
Where would you post that on?
Kind of all over. So now I'm posting mostly on Substack and Blue Sky and a little bit on Facebook. But back in the days of the Grams when I was on there, it was definitely like very hit and miss, like what got traction and what didn't. Even if I was posting in the same hashtags that were kind of popping off, like doing someone's draw this in your style or doing like, we're in October, so doing Inktober stuff. And sometimes it would take off and sometimes it wouldn't. So I don't know. At the end of the day, it seems kind of meaningless to try to chase the trend. I think for me, I'm just going to do what I like to do, and just put out the stuff I want to make. And if people react to it well, then that's great. And if no one looks at it, well, I still made it for me and I still enjoyed putting it together. So I think right now that's where I'm falling. You know, of course, tomorrow I'll be like, I'll do anything it takes to get people to look at my book, you know?
I hear you.
But yeah, because you have to like doing it too. I think we run into a lot of burnout when we as creators are trying to do the things that we think we're supposed to do, but are making us miserable. So, you know, if you hate being on a certain platform, if it's Facebook or Twitter or whatever, you know, maybe you don't have to be there anymore if it's making you miserable and not serving you well anymore. So, you know, especially at this point in where the internet is and where creativity is and where marketing is, I think at the end of the day, you just have to do the stuff that's clicking for you, and then, you know, people will see that, and hopefully that helps you take off.
All right, cool. Marvin?
I'm just going to start arguments from now on social media.
Hey, that's my shtick. I'll argue with you right now.
We did that last time. No,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I feel like that. I mean, if you're not going to start an argument, which I think it helps the algorithm to notice that you're there, is things that are interactive. So if you can get people interacting with something, or if they're sharing their stuff on your posts, and that's how you probably going to get much. But starting an argument seems to be the easiest way to get noticed on social media now. So JD and Grant, I will be starting arguments with you guys this coming week. Sorry.
That's
Nice.
fine. I mean, as long as you can accept your loss, it's okay.
Well, I don't care if I win or lose, as long as people are looking at the posts.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
A good argument rises all ships, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Sure. Sean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, of course, I'm everywhere I can possibly think of. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm on Reddit, and everything. And really, the thing that I've seen the most return on, I know I've gotten some backers from it, just because they've told me they found me on there, is Reddit. Just trying to do anything weird, anything different. There's like 4 or 5 places that I post in Reddit, and I'm putting the same thing I'm putting out pretty much everywhere else. And I'm actually having conversations with guys, chatting with guys, and they're saying, you know, how they like it or what they don't like about it, or like, especially with hospice, I've had a lot of people come back and saying, oh, I saw season 1, or I got season 1. That's awesome. They're coming back with it, and I'm having conversations about that. And I think I've seen the most from Reddit, though, honestly. Just it's a weird place to go sometimes for trying to put social media stuff out there with comics, but there are guys that want to talk more, it seems like, on there versus the Facebook groups or on X, things like that. So I've seen more TikTok views, but I don't think anything has really come from those TikTok views. They'll like it, they see it, they're scrolling past it, whatever, but they're not actually going to the Kickstarter page and clicking it or anything. So
what are the kinds of, are you going to like comic specific communities on Reddit, or like things that are tangentially related to the things you're writing, like particular horror boards or something like that?
So I should branch out to the just specific like type of thing, but it's all comic stuff. So like there's comic collab, there's indie comic books, there's indie comics, comic book art, comics in general, and sometimes like comics, the number 1 Reddit page, there's like 1,000 people that'll see it, but nobody comments on that one because they don't want to see that. They want to see Marvel DC, but I'm still putting it there just because you never know. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's cool. Grant, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I guess I haven't tried Reddit. That sounds interesting. Thanks for the advice. As far as where I get the most traction is probably from my newsletter. Just because, I mean, I know that there are spam filters on people's emails, but it feels like it's easier to get to people like that as opposed to, with social media where you have 1,000 different barriers between you and getting to your potential readers. But I also agreed with the opinion of be on as many of these things as you can, because variety is always good. I mean, the thing that I always say is, Coca-Cola doesn't care if you already know about its drink. They keep right on advertising. So never think to yourself like, okay, everybody already knows about everybody who's on my followers list already knows about my comic book. Mm-hmm. There are people who may not have seen the first 20 messages that you sent about it.
All right, cool. Randy, Tom, what are your thoughts?
I gave up on that a while ago, kind of like what I said when we talked earlier. So what I do is really a lot like what Melissa says. I just do what I feel like doing, and my thought process is simply, be engaging, entertaining, even if you are like, Marvin, and you need an argument to kind of kickstart that kind of stuff. I get tons of reactions from people whenever I tell them that a movie's a piece of shit. They come for me, and so that spikes all of my engagement on everything, because they're like, "What the hell's wrong with this guy?" And then they want to see what else I, am posting too. So, that's for me. Social media is that it's just it. I use it to me as it is supposed to be used. I posted about football today, posted about movies that I watch. I posted about the comics that are coming up. I posted about the turtle that I saved on the road. Like, I use it for the quote unquote way it's supposed to be used. And, people are either going to kind of track in on that or they're not, either way. The thing with being on all the platforms is that you have to understand that all the platforms work completely differently from each other. Facebook to Instagram to Twitter to TikTok, it all requires different posting. So if you're just like, I'm going to post Facebook and put it all on the other places, it's not going to work. I'm not saying it's not going to work at all, but there's a reason why each of these things is its own infrastructure and its own community. Same with Reddit. Like, if you go to Reddit is like a very, very specific community of all things, but every time you go into Reddit, it is its own, environment. So you have to know how it works and what to expect, how to use it. But yeah, for me, it's just I just go on so I can tell Marvin that Darkman's terrible. That's everything I need to do for Facebook.
Did you even watch it?
I watched the first one. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Before we were supposed to talk about it.
Yeah, I know, but now it's too long ago and I don't remember it. So. But yeah, no, I don't really try and chase, like, I don't do a lot of memes. Like, a lot of people are big into the memes, right? They try and tie their stuff into memes. And I think there's some value to that if you're legitimately good at it, if you were legitimately sort of understand why that meme really actually connects to what you're doing. But there's too many people that are just making like Schwarzenegger things that say, get to my Kickstarter. Like, nobody cares. That's moronic, right? But if you've got something that ties into a particular meme, a genre or whatever, then there's probably some value that you can get, creative with. But I don't really do a whole lot of that either. So it's just kind of whatever I feel like doing at any given time. I don't know that there's ever been something that I could point to say, well, that worked really well. Other than, and this has nothing to do with what you're talking about. It is, I guess, a little bit streaming into the void. We have done times at Comic-Cons where we've done panels, like Big Dog Ink panels. And we would basically go in and say, okay, when we're done, everybody come back with us to the table and we'll give you a free comic or whatever. So we'd get 20 or 30 people to wander back from the thing, not because necessarily they were fully engaged with us, but who doesn't want a free comic, right? So, so at minimum, even if they didn't buy anything at the table when they came back, they at least took it home, and then, they hopefully would read it. There's all of our website and stuff on the inside, and who knows where it can go from there. But again, that's that direct contact, right? It's really hard to just be lost in the hundreds of millions of people on social media. But when you go to a Comic-Con and there's just two people wandering by your booth, that's that direct connection. Hey, you're wearing a Godzilla shirt. Guess what? I've got a kaiju book. Check this thing out. That's that easy one-on-one sort of grab.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. I'll tell you about the last 2 campaigns I did. The thing that was probably the most effective for me was my Substack. The way I tend to write my posts is I tend to write them and then somehow link them to my campaigns. So I write them, and then there's something in there where I tell some weird story about whatever it is I'm working on that campaign. And that, for some reason, got me some more engagement. I made a few more bucks on both campaigns that I normally make. So I thought, I was like, okay, that's interesting. But, you know, I mean, is it like phenomenal? No, but it was a few more bucks. So I'll take it. So that's what worked for me. For these last 2 campaigns, we'll see how it works on the next 2. So it's a work in progress. Randy, what are your thoughts?
Well, I've kind of been sitting back on the whole marketing thing and just looking to see what everybody else is doing. I've done Facebook for years, but it's mostly goofy memes, and you know, I haven't been trying to stir any pots. Put it that way, though I've been tempted too many times. You know, you get that post already written up, and then you go, no, I don't think I'm gonna. You just remove it. What's the sense of even putting it out there? It's just going to attract too much vinegar, you know, that kind of thing. I do that a lot, probably too much. But yeah, I'm really interested in everybody else. I know for the Atlantean, we do the newsletter, russleach.com. You can sign over there. Russ is really good about newsletters that are information based, that aren't bombarding people every couple of weeks or so. He might send a newsletter out once a month when he's in the middle of finishing up one of the books, just to let folks know where the campaigns are at, what's going on. That seems to really work good for us. And then we saturate the boards. And with the work, the book, the Atlantean book that we do, it's easy because it's like with the Oz book that Tom does. There is a niche market out there that's not necessarily comics that's interested in your work. So if you can tap into that, you can catch some extra money from that direction. But I know that there's a lot of real loyal Oz fans out there that just pick up whatever they can find on it. Same thing with the Robert E. Howard material. We were told even though we didn't make an appearance on Howard Days down there at Cross Plains in Texas, the book was there. And the book was talked about quite a bit, which was really cool to hear, and received real nicely, which is really, really good to hear. So I've spent the last year kind of overthinking the writing end of this, and really proud of what we've done with that book. So other than that, it's just keep chugging on, and like what Melissa said, do what you like doing, and see if anybody sees it. But yeah, I got to get out there under a few more platforms and be a little bit more visible. Maybe start some arguments. I don't know. We'll see.
Tom is always here. He's always willing to argue.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So here we go. Here's a question for you guys. What is a major task you're looking to accomplish before the end of this year? In Indy Comics, obviously. I don't need to hear about you repairing your garage.
It's been my whole summer. It seems like the whole house is in turmoil. Living room gets painted and it screws up the computer. But anyway, one thing after the next. It's just been a wacky summer.
Marvin, you're up.
I think that one of our goals is probably to try to tap back into distribution again, I guess. I mean, it's going to be a task to kind of narrow things down and then see who all the new players in the market are going to be, because there's going to be three more shooting in here pretty soon. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, really getting these Kickstarters funded, because we got 4 for Comicsburg right now. So we got to get these things done.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So before we move on, who are these 3 players that are coming in?
I can only tell you one. Universal for sure. That's the only one I got for you right now.
Oh, okay.
I'll have some more for you because the Comics Pro open house is coming, so I'll know some more then.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Mr. Inside Information, not giving out the info.
October 23rd, 24th. I posted it into the Facebook group. So if anybody wants to sign up for it, you can.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Now he's promoting. See this? See this guy?
Unfortunately, the invasion happens on the 21st. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Sean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so it's going to be at the end of the year, putting it together, and then we'll go live probably the first week of January is my first trade. So the Fog Within 1 through 4 is finally going to trade, which has been my goal since the beginning, is if I can make it to a trade, I can continue on. And I didn't think I'd be doing any other series as well. I'm doing 2 other series now in the middle of it. And it's been a wild ride, these 2.5, almost 3 years now. And I didn't really think I'd get past the first issue, really. And now we're at that trade, that final point. And yeah, January, the first week, that trade. That's been my goal, like I said, 2.5, 3 years almost. So I'm very proud of that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Grant, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. So our goal right now is just finishing Memoirs of the Morbid. I'm really focused on that. I like to be completely done with these when I go on Kickstarter, and that wasn't possible this time. But I'm about 90% done. So I want to get that done before the end of the year and send.
All right, cool. Melissa?
Oh gosh, I think it's going to depend on how this campaign goes and how much of a laydown I'm going to need afterwards. But yeah, I think something that's been on my mind lately is that I've done a lot of like the marketing and the promotion work a lot in the back half of this year, but I haven't actually been making comics. So I would like to shift my focus to actually working more on comics, which was the reason I got into this whole thing in the first place. And like I said, next year, I'm going to kind of make it the year of Black Ball because that's my 1920s series. It takes place in 1926. So I'm going to try to tie into it being 2026. And the goal is to get that series completely done, get the last 2 issues out, and then I can put all my focus into Alchemist of Aurelia. And it'll be nice to just have a completed series under my belt and to do it up in a fun way. Potentially with hats and costumes and party poppers. I don't know. We're gonna see how it shakes out. So some planning for that and actually getting back to drawing and making comics, which is the part of it that I love the most.
All right. Cool. Randy?
Immediately Atlantean 4, getting that done. That'll be out before the end of the year. It's got couple new characters to introduce and a lot of fun to have on that. Then after that, the Anniverse collection is still next up on the plate. I've got a large t-shirt box filled with old fan art from up to 40 years ago with Anniverse characters in it. Susan's already finished a story for of the Varsel's Vixens, and I think she's got a cover painted by now. I haven't talked to her in a couple weeks, but she should have that cover painted. We're looking at doing a 3-volume set at this point. The Anniverse stories in the first one, the Varsel's Vixen stories that Sue did in the second one, and then a collection of fan art and scripts and all the little scraps from 40 years of doing and getting, this close this many time and getting Anniverse and its characters out there in front of people. So it's going to be a nice volume. The third book's going to have a celebrity artist on it that we're really looking forward to having volunteered to do a cover for us. So real happy about that. Ought to be a nice pull. It ought to be an interesting campaign. So then, more monkey business. After that.
Nice.
That's it.
Have you been working on it?
Have I? I've been doing a lot more research. I'm looking at stretching it out and maybe on the Spank the Monkey on the comic market, maybe even changing the format of the book.
Okay. To what? Like digest or?
Yeah, to a digest size.
Okay.
Might be more fun that way. I'm looking at. I'm a big nut for different formats anyway.
Mhm.
So the more odd, the better, and the easier to carry and look at, and the more fun it is. I've always wanted to do a paperback, the old size paperbacks.
Yeah.
Those aren't cheap to print anymore. So
No. Yeah.
unless you're doing mass volumes of it. So
Mhm.
we'll figure something out. There's all sorts of. We're tied in with Critical Blast, and they're tied in with Ingram, I believe, or whoever they get their printing from. They have a wide variety of different formats. That's why we really like doing the A4 album format for the Atlantean, because Russ is really a huge fan of Savage Sword of Conan. So anything that's the closest that we can get to that kind of product without going into mass printings and doing a newsprint magazine that's saddle stitched. So having fun.
All right. Cool.
They said, yeah. Hopefully, we're looking at. We're also looking at doing all three as a box set, which would be really cool. So I'm a big fan of that as well. And there's so many stories that have been out there, and I got fan art from, like I said, 40 years worth of fan art out there that we can definitely fill a big volume of it with it, and even have the pictures 2 or 3 to a page at this point.
Damn. That's a big one.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. Tom, what do you got?
Well, next year is the 15-year anniversary of The Legend of Oz. So we're going to be really heavy on Oz stuff next year with the series with Volume 7, doing a spin-off anthology for it. So that'll be kind of the primary of next year. But then in June, we'll have the Shark book, assuming everything goes well this time. Shark book will be our first ever graphic novel release, OGN. So we're not going to release issues. It's just going to be the whole 100 pages, one shot. So we'll be doing that in the summertime. And then in October, so with the BD 15 anthology this weekend, we're introducing our a new book that we call the Amityville Sorority Sisters. So it's basically a very sort of grindhouse Tarantino throwback 70s 80s type of horror story with the house. That'll be a 10-page introduction in this week's or this month's book, but then next year we're going to be doing the full book, and we're going to be doing it in like the what do you call that stuff, the distillery, like magazine size thing.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be kind of like a square and like 40 pages.
Yeah.
So that'll be what we're going to do next year with that, to kind of see, again, just like Randy was saying, do some different formats, do some different things that, when you put them on the table, you get some visual variation, and then just kind of see how the fans react to it. And we can take that from there. And then in 27, we're going really big on the Critterverse. We're working on all of that right now. We're bringing Critter back again, Volume 7, as well as spin-offs done by Lori Calcaterra, Pat Shan, CB Zane, and some other folks, so that we can really have like a full Critterverse, run through the entire 2027, and really kind of put a hard focus on that. Yeah.
All right, cool. For myself, it's one of these things where it's like, when Diamond went kablooey, so did a lot of my plans.
Mm-hmm.
So it's trying to figure out, kind of similar to what Marvin's going through, which route I'm going to be taking in that direction, right? So I want to put out Oswald in color finally, and just seeing how I'm going to get into that direct market, whether it be, through whatever various sources or however I got to do it. But it's one of those things, just finding out where the numbers are at, is it viable, right? Yeah, and that's my big thing, Oh, but also, well, that's for next year. But in the next 3 months, it's getting all these campaigns out, because I got 2 that I'm fulfilling this week, hopefully, and then I'll be launching 2 more probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then hopefully 1 more towards the end of the year, if not 2 more, because the train never stops. You know, so yeah. Tom, you got a question?
Nope.
What the hell?
I've told you, man. I've got all the answers you need, but
All right. Well, you know what? I got a softball one. I've asked this question before. Who is your favorite indie comic book cover artist? Right. So, if you really want to preface it, who's the indie comic cover artist that you'd want to do a book, do a cover for your book that maybe you haven't worked with? So you can try that. Well, I think we're up to Sean.
Oh man. What is his name? Hold on. I was about to look it up. Patrick, is it Burmeyer? I've never actually said his last name out loud. Granite State Punk's artist, which I've talked to him before. And he might be doing one for The Fog Within coming up next year, maybe. But yeah, that's the art style. It's different than what you normally see out there. So yeah, that's who I haven't talked to yet, or had to do a cover yet.
Cool. Grant.
We can't pick somebody who we've worked with before.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but it'd be nice if you pick somebody you didn't work with before.
Oh boy. I mean, obviously, I mean, the guy that I really like is Daniel Mendoza, and that's, I mean, why I keep working with him. I'm trying to think of one that I really like who I haven't worked with. I guess the reason why is if there's somebody that I really like, I'll make it a point to work with them. So, you know what I mean?
Gotcha. All right, cool. Melissa, who would you like to get a cover from, if anyone? I know you're own art.
I have my own art. I guess a more confident version of myself. But I've wanted for years to get Angela Odling to do a Black Ball cover for me because she's told me in the past that she's really enjoyed the comic, and I think she's got a really cool art style. I think she would do something really fun for the series. I tried to hire a variant cover artist who I didn't know once, and they ghosted me after I said, well, how much money do you want? Like, I will pay you your fair rate. And then that's when they left, and I'm like, no, I'm willing to give you money. You're supposed to leave if I don't give you money.
Right.
So it's made me a little sheepish to try again. For me, I want to work with people I know and my friends whose stuff I like. So yeah, I think if I could get Angela to do a Black Ball cover, that would be fun. But yeah, mostly I would also hope that I could make better covers too, since I'm the artist.
That's fair. Marvin.
I'll see Angela next week and pass her some information.
What?
I say I'll be at a con next week with Angela. Do you want me to pass her some information?
Oh yeah, tell her I say hi. We've talked before, but yeah, just tell her I'm coming for her.
I'll say Kanan White, because I've been like going back and forth with him for a while, and he's always been busy. So hopefully he'll be unbusy pretty soon. So then, yeah, I'll say Kanan.
That's cool. Randy.
It'd be really nice to get a Anniverse cover from Wendy Penny.
Well, that's true.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
If we're gonna dream big. Yeah.
True. Tom.
I've worked with so many indie guys, and I've been pretty good finding my own too. Dan Mendoza, Bill McKay, Mike Crome, Eric Basildua. I've worked with Ryan Otley. So there's a lot of guys that I've worked with. Brian Moroglio is one of the guys that I've wanted to get from, and I finally got that. He's going to be on our Penny for Your Soul campaign that'll be coming soon. Joyce Chin just did us a cover. There's a guy that he's I know his name, but I only know him from this one book because it's happening right now. And when I saw the art, I was like, Jesus Christ. It's the Spawn book, The Curse of Shirley Johnson, Jonathan Glapion, who I'm sure has done Marvel and DC stuff, but I'm just not aware of it. But when I looked at the art on that, I was just like, this is mind-blowingly unbelievable. And it's probably why the book is a bi-monthly book. Like automatically, they're like, this is a 2-month book, guys. It's going to take us a minute to make this thing. Because that stuff is just incredible. But a lot of the guys that I look at now, I'm looking at people that are sort of in that higher level. Like, I want to get, I'd love to get Jorge Jimenez to do something. I'd love to get, obviously, Art Adams. I'd love to get to do something. So I'm kind of at a point where I'm reaching for the stars, like Randy was talking about. It's like I'm kind of like, okay, if we're gonna do this like critter thing, like this is, I have 2 years, year and a half. If we're gonna do this critter thing and we're gonna do like a real superhero universe, I want to like have the greats, modern and past, represented in this stuff. Like I don't want to just be out here doing, all the typical sort of like, pinup covers and stuff. Like I want power artists to be doing the book if I can, covers for sure. And so I literally have a list right here. It's a very tiny list, but it's double-sided of like, I don't know, probably 60 dudes that I'm like, I need to talk to all of them so that we're ready for 2027. So.
Gotcha. All right, cool. My list is, I got 3 or 4 people. I'd have to look up a couple of names, but there's been one guy that I've been wanting to always get to do an Oswald cover, but I'm just like, parting with the cash is kind of the hard part, right? And as David Peterson, the mouse guard guy.
There you go. Yeah.
Great artist. He's touchable, which is cool. But parting with the cash is the part that I'm like, okay, that's the part I'm wrestling with.
Yeah.
Another artist is Juanjo Guarnido, and he is the guy who draws Black Sad. And I would love to get a piece from him, but I don't even want to think what that would cost. Like I don't even want to think about it. Like, just frightens me. I'm like, I was gonna be like $5,000 minimum, and I'm just like, it's just one of those things where it's just like
you got it. But for those things, man, those are level up moments.
Oh yeah,
right?
Of course.
Like if you can do it, not only do you do it, but you market the hell out of that thing. Like you make T-shirts and mugs and whatever image that is, you put it on 8,000 products and you market that to the Black Sad community at the same time as you're marketing it just to the comic book community. You know what I mean? And forever you're now attached to that artist that you can say, I work with this guy. I work with this guy. I can say I work with J. Scott Campbell. I can say I work with Ryan Otley. Like there's a value to that, even if not directly to your audience, to you as your resume as you start to go through that glass ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Not just that, but it's worth your time to make the connection with the artist. You never know what he's going to charge or what they'll do for you, or he or she, or the talent will do.
That is true. I have one friend.
That Anniverse cover for the collection came to me out of the blue. Passed each other on a show. Hey, I know you're doing great. Hey, you're going to collect Anniverse. I want to do a cover.
No, yeah, that's
okay.
Cool. I got a friend. Know. He works with a painter, and of course I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. But they became fast friends, and he would quote him 1,000, 1,500, whatever. But what he would allow my friend to do is pay him like monthly $150.
That too. Yeah.
10 months, and and he would do the piece for him. And the guy was always good for it. So so he's got like 3 or 4 covers from the guy. So
when I was doing the Flint Comics newspaper, we were hitting our 50th issue. Took George Perez out to dinner at a con. Hey, you want to do a cover? Okay.
There you go.
There you go. You never know until you ask.
This is true. Yeah. All right, everybody. Great job. We made it to hour 2. Thank you so much. You're all fantastic. And let's start with, the last man in, Marvin. Where can we find you and your work, sir?
Hit me up on comicsburg.com and theedgecomic.com. You will see all the socials from there.
All right, cool. Sean?
So I'm everywhere that you can think of social-wise under SeanWood_writer. I'm also on Substack. Still newer on there, but on Substack too. And then Hospice, The Scaled Key will be live in 2 days.
Nice. Grant?
I am also on comicsburg.com, and I'm on most of the social medias, pretty much all of them except for Twitter, because screw that. And I have a pretty distinct name, Grant Lankard. If you search Grant Lankard, I'm pretty sure I'm the only one.
All right, cool. Melissa?
Yeah, alchemistcomic.melissajmassey.com is the link to my Kickstarter, which is running till Friday the 10th. So make sure you jump on that if you're interested. But for the rest of the time, you can find me on Substack and Blue Sky and Facebook, Melissa J. Massey. I'm mostly on Substack. I post something every week, so come on down and join in the fun.
All right, cool. Randy?
The Atlantean 3 campaign is over. 1 and 2, though, are available at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, criticalblast.com. We run our campaigns through fundmycomic.com, and we'll have the campaign for 4 over there within the next month or so. Plus, I do a podcast twice a week with the Indy Comics Network, where we just look at old comics and talk about stuff. Bunch of old farts talking comics, looking at great old comics. On Fridays, we're looking through on Fridays, we're looking through the Monster Bus right now, which is the old Jack Kirby kaiju monster stories. But it's a great collection of great short stories there, all sorts of weird, large monsters. And then on Sunday, we're going through the Haunt of Fear, the classic EC series that everybody knows that really started the horror market pretty much for comics. Is right there, collected in hardback, shot in black, beautiful black and white. The Russ Cockrum reprints is what we're looking at, and it's just some phenomenal art by the best talent that they could find at the time, in the times, and it's just a great series to go through. That Sunday Funnies 9 a.m. on Sundays Eastern Time, and Comics by Night. We do it Fridays at 5 a.m. because we catch the guys in the UK that pop in and talk with us, Russ Leach and Glenn Fleming, at 5 a.m. on Fridays, Comics by Night. So if you can stop by, we're archived in Indie Comics Network, the Randy Zim YouTube channel, and the Comic Book Black Belt YouTube channel. So, and the majority of our hits are after we've recorded anyway, because we record at such odd times. But we've looked through some great old comics in the past, and just there's so much great stuff out there to look through that we'll never stop doing it. We're going to stop doing it when we can't do it anymore. So it's just a lot of fun to do.
Cool. Tom?
BigDogInk.com. Get your back issues, trade paperbacks, whatever you're looking for. We'll be launching October 11th, the BD15 anthology, noon Eastern time. It'll run for 3 weeks. And then, like I said, right at the end, I think that Sunday or Monday before Halloween, Dren Publications is launching Plan 39 from Outer Space, which I wrote and art directed. So we'll have a couple of overlapping campaigns running at the end of the month.
All right, cool. And you can find me on the OswaldChronicle.com, TallTalesOnline.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, DeviantArt, all those different places. Most Sunday nights here, at 7:30 p.m. But next weekend, I'm taking a break. I'm going to take the weekend off. We will be back on the 19th.
Break? What's up with that? What?
Yeah,
you can pre-record these shows if you need to,
Yeah, I know, but I don't need to. So, yes. So thank you, everyone, for being here. And please check out the show notes, because in those show notes is everybody's links. So go check out those links. Click on those books. All these creators are doing fantastic work. They're all doing great books. So please click on those links. Pick up some books. And just remember, read more indie comics, especially ours. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.